Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah amma ba'du. And we were cut off yesterday on this rule. We were cut off on dealing with this waw al-ma'iyya. And basically we had went through the examples and we just said lam yaf'al al-khair wa yandam. A person does not do good and regret it. This waw means he's not going to do good at the same time as regret it, like the word ma'a, right? Like the word ma'a. This is with that, right? At the same time. Lam yuwas al-faqir wa yamunna alayhi. He's not going to console the poor person and at the same time brag about the good that he's done to him, right? Meaning this at the same time, it's not going to happen, right? This is a negation. And then we said, La ta'mur bisidq wa takdhib. Do not command with truthfulness and at the same time you lie, right? And then La tandur ila uyub nas wa tuhmila uyub nafsik. Do not look at the mistakes or the shortcomings of the people and then forget your own mistakes or turn away from your own mistakes. These two, la ta'mur wa la tandur, they're requests, basically. Don't do this, right? And it means at the same time, la ta'mur bisidq wa takdhib. Don't command people to do good and at the same time you're lying, right? La tandur ila uyubin. Don't look at their shortcomings and you're turning away from yours. It has like a meaning of being together. This waw means like that, and whenever that happens, yunsab al-mudari' bi an mudmara wujuban ba'da waw al-ma'iyya al-mazbuqa bi nafi aw talab. That the fi'l mudari' is made mansub with an n, which is hidden in there necessarily or as an obligation because you cannot write it out, right, when it's following a waw al-ma'iyya, which is preceded by a nafi or a talab, by negation or a request. Are there any questions about this? Like I said, these things are just going to require us to get a lot of examples. And not only do we need examples of when it takes place, we need examples of when it doesn't take place so that we can compare. You know, the same thing when we learn shirk. Why do we learn shirk? So that we can perform it? No. So that we know to stay away from it, right? So that we know to stay away from it, right? The same thing we're going to learn, and we're going to take some time, like I said, maybe after Ramadan or after the summer, go over this chapter in more detail and look at examples with fa as-sababiyya, which is not preceded by a nafi or a talab, so therefore it won't have the same function. Same thing, likewise, waw al-ma'iyya and hatta and so on and so forth, inshallah, until we can try to master this point. طيب. جوازم الفعل المضارع. جوازم الفعل المضارع. Those things which makes the fi'l mudari, the present tense verb, majzoom. And I don't think I should be at the point where I have to translate al-fi'l mudari when I say it. We should know that that means present tense verb, right? The first one, there's two types here. There's two types or two subcategories. The adawat al-adawat allati tujzim fi'lan wahidan. Those elements, those tools, adawat is like a word for like tools, but it means those elements, those words, which make fi'lun wahidin, one verb, majzoom. Alright, those words make one word. Okay, so before we learned from the alamat al-jazm, we learned that there were three. Not that there were only three, but there were three. We learned lam, la an-nahiyya, and in. And we learned that in tujzimu fi'lain. it does two verbs, right? But lam and la and nahiya, they do one. Here we're going to learn some other particles, some other elements that only do one. من الأدوات التي تجزم فعلا مضارعا واحدا. From those elements that make one present tense verb mudari are lamma and the lam of amr. The lam of amr and lamma. Wal-ula, and the first, tufidu an-nafi kallam. This one, its meaning is a negation, like this. Lamma is a negation, just like lam is a negation, right? Lam yajlis, he did not sit, right? غير أن النفي بها يستمر إلى زمان التكلم. Okay, lam makes it medzum in the past tense, or it makes it negation in the past tense. Lamma is the past tense until now. Example. Let's look at some examples.
I got a question when you go back there.
Go ahead.
This, you said nafi, ke, lamb. This got nafia.
Yeah, that's fine. I said nafi because I stopped. This
okay.
ya is if you're continuing. If I stop, then this ya is going to have a sukoon on it from purposes, so I have to put something. That's how we talked about this once before. This nafi is just going to be pronounced like that just because you're stopping. You can't say nafi because you can't have two sukoons next to each other. So you just put that kasra there in order to make it able. Otherwise, you say nephew. Huh?
Okay, it sounds like it's a shutdown there.
What do you mean?
But it's not. It's just nef. You say nefi.
No, just nefi.
Nefi.
Nefi. I'm saying nefi. 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 The word is nephew. Right? Nephew.
Okay, nefi. I got it.
Right.
But see, it's got a sukoon. That's why I was saying, you know, over the fa.
Right. But so because I put a sukoon on the ya when I stop,
okay,
you can't have two sukoons next to each other. Right?
Okay. All right.
طيب. كبر الغلام ولما يتهذب. The boy became big, right? Grew older. وَلَمَّا يَتَهَذَّبُ. So we see lemma is like lam. It's with a present tense verb. We see that ya, which is a present tense letter, right? So it's with a present tense verb. But its meaning, for if I said lam yatahaddab, means he did not become mannered. Here, in English, the meaning is going to be the same, but it means basically until now, he did not become mannered, right? Until now, because it benefits us, the benefit means from then until now. So we say, ذهب الرسول ولما يعود. The messenger, not necessarily the Prophet ﷺ, the messenger of the court, the messenger of the auto part shop, right? ذهب الرسول, the messenger went, ولما يعود, and he did not return. ولما يعود, meaning until now. He went and he still hasn't come back. Ben al-Amir. If we were to put lam, we would say walam ya'ud, and it means and he didn't return, and that was like the end of the story, period. He went and he didn't return, meaning he left and he never came back. When we say lamma ya'ud, huh?
Instead of lamma.
Right, if you put lam there, the meaning would be he never received manners. He never became well mannered, and basically he never will, because right, it's done. It's over with. The affair is over with. The lam is in the past. Lamma means he hasn't received them till now. Maybe he will in the future, but until now, he hasn't received them. Right? He hasn't become well mannered. ذهب الرسول ولم يعد. He went and he didn't come back. Like he moved there. He stayed. Or he died there. لما يعد. You talking to us, Abu Samaya?
Yeah, this lamb, I think it's the same lamb in the Surah Al-Kafirun. Lam Yalid. Am I right?
This lamb is here, yes.
Yeah. That he never worshipped and he will never worship.
Lam Yalid meaning he never had he was never born.
Oh, yes. He wasn't given birth to and he will never give birth.
Right. Walamma means until now it hasn't happened. Or it hasn't happened and even still till now. So if we said ban al-amir qasran walamma yaskunhu. The amir, he built a house. The amir, the prince, he built a house. He built a castle. He built a palace. Qasran, a palace. Walamma yaskunhu. And he did not live in it. Meaning until now. He still hasn't moved into it. Now if you said lam yaskunhu with lam, like up here, it means and he didn't move into it. It's like done deal. He built a house and he never moved into it. Here, lamma meaning until now he hasn't moved into it. Right? Until now he hasn't moved into it.
As of now. Like as of now.
Yeah, or up until or yet.
Yeah.
Or yet.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Right? والثانية meaning lam al-amr, the second one, تجعل المضارع مفيدا للأمر. Then it makes the present tense verb like it's a command. So لتجتنب كثرة المزاح. تجتنب, right? تجتنب, and it should be at kasra here. لتجتنب meaning تجتنبوا with a dhamma is a present tense verb. Stay away from, right? Or you stay away from. It's not a command. What a dhamma is that you do stay away from a lot of joking. But when I put this lam of amr here, this lam of amr, li tajtanib, it makes it majzoom. With a sukoon there, right? And it means, it benefits you to say, you stay away from, as a command. Right? لِيَفْتَحْ عَلِيٌّ النَّافِذَ. Ali here is a person's name. An-Nafida, the window. Yaftah, the window. But li-yaftah, this just makes yaftahu. If I didn't have this lam and I had a dhamma there, yaftahu aliyun an-nafida. Ali is opening the window. But when I put that lam and it becomes majzoom, it means Ali open the window. It's a command. Instead of saying iftah an-nafida ya Ali, you can say liyaftah aliyun an-nafida. It just benefits us a command. And all this means is it's another way of saying something. We could say iftah an-nafida ya Ali, or iftah ya Ali an-nafida, or we could say liyaftahu Ali an-nafida. It's the same thing. Same thing, just a different way of saying it. And this is when you start to be able to control the language. When you know you're getting a good control of language, when you can reword a sentence. Not only reorder the words, but to also come up with synonyms. Not synonyms of just for the words, but synonyms for the sentence as a whole, meaning like similar sentences. So for instance, go to the store, head to the supermarket, run to the shop. You understand? These are different ways. How do you tell somebody? You told me go to the store was go to the store. And then I heard a guy say run to the supermarket. What does that mean? It means go to the store. Just another way of saying it. Same thing here. Iftah as a command, written clearly as a command. Iftah. An-Nafida ya Ali is the same as liyaftah Aliyun an-Nafida. Right? So this lam of Amr, it benefits us, right? A command on a present tense verb, and it makes it majzoom. So now for our adawat of jazm, we have lam and lemma, la an-Nahiyah, lam al-Amr, and we're going to just say we have those four right now, which do one verb. Then we have in, which takes us to the second part, the second rule. Al-adawat allati tajzimu fi'lain. Those particles which are elements, are tools, those things which come along and make two verbs majzoom. Right? Al-adawat allati tajzimu fi'lain. Ithnata ashrata ada. They are 12. They are 12. And you just have to learn the meanings of them and how they happen. And that's not really a review. That's more of a going over it. In, which we already have. Wa idma. Idma. Right? Wa huma harfan. Meaning these two are harfs. They're not nouns and they're not verbs. They're harfs. Right? We said a harf. In wa idma. Man wa ma wa mahma wa mata wa ayan wa ain wa anna wa haythuma wa kayfama wa ay. All of these words can make two verbs majzoom, and all of them are asma. They're all nouns, right? These are nouns, men. So for instance, we can do a few of them, but we're not going to spend our time doing all of the examples because this is a review. You can go over the book. Try to find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, you should be able to see it now. من يفرط في الأكل يتخم. Whoever goes overboard, يفرط في الأكل يتخم. He gets indigestion. Just gets his stomach upset. يتخم from ta kha mim, right? Whoever goes overboard in eating. So you can see this men. It's a condition. Whoever does this verb, then this verb is going to happen. Right? ما تدخر من مالك ينفعك. Whatever you save from your money will benefit you. So this verb is a condition for the second verb to happen. First, you have to save in order to benefit. You have to overeat in order to get indigestion. So on and so forth. They only went over these two inside of it, and then they said, look, they went over these two, men and ma, and they said, look, mahma, mata, ayan, aina, anna, haythama, kayfama, ay. They're all going to do the same basic thing. When they appear before two verbs, they're going to make both of them majzoom. So they didn't even bring us examples inside the text. Now maybe, and Allah knows best, inside of the exercises, then maybe we got to see some of them. Right? But in the text itself, they didn't bring them. They just showed you this is the rule. Right? When these appear before two verbs, they're going to make both of them majzoom. طيب. الأفعال الخمسة وإعرابها. أفعال الخمسة. What are أفعال الخمسة? Let's read the thing because it'll tell you what they are. الأفعال الخمسة هي كل مضارع اتصلت به ألف الاثنين أو واو الجماعة أو ياء المخاطبة. Now, what does that mean? If we have our chart, which I'll pull up here. We have our chart here. Present tense. Right? If we were to write whatever, يفعل, يفعلان, يفعلون. Abdullah, you should know how to do this, man. Been doing this stuff for 2 years, man. تفعل, تفعلان, يفعلن, تفعل, تفعلان, and تفعلون, تفعلين. Talking to a female. تفعلان, تفعلن. And we've gone over in our verb a day, we're on the 44th verb. So you should have plenty of practice to be able to do this by now. أفعل. We've done it. نفعل 44 times now. And if you're having problems, I gave you 4 extra verbs to do on every form so far. So that would be another 20 something. Anyway, here's your chart. We said here, every fi'l mudari which is connected at the end of it, alif al-ithnain, waw al-jama'ah, or ya al-mukhataba. Right? Ya al-mukhataba. So let's look at our chart. Do we have alif al-ithnain here? No. Alif al-ithnain here? Yes. Yaf'alani. Waw al-jama'ah? Yes. It's connected there. Taf'al. No, it's not connected there. Taf'alani? Yes. Alif al-ithnain. Right? Alif with noon. Here, yaf'alna. No. There's noon and niswa. Taf'al. La. It's not connected there. Taf'alani. Yes. Taf'aluna. Here with the waw and the noon. Taf'alina. Here's the ya al-mukhataba. Taf'alani. Taf'alna. No. That's the noon and niswa. Af'alu. No. We don't have any of that. Right? So now here we're stuck with these right here. We're stuck with these. And if we look, these 3 are all the same. So we say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why they're called Af'alul Khamsa. The 5 verbs. Right? They have alif al-ithnain, such as in yaf'alani, taf'alani. They have waw al-jama'ah, such as in yaf'aluna, taf'aluna. And they have ya al-mukhataba, such as in taf'alina. Taf'alani, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna, taf'aluna, taf'alina. Those are our 5 verbs. What's special about those? If we looked at our chart and we were to go back, we would remember that these 2 here, yaf'alna wa taf'alna, that noon and niswa makes it mebni, so it never ever changes. Yaf'alna, taf'alna. Right? They never change. And if we remember these, yaf'alu, taf'alu, af'alu, naf'alu, they all have a dhamma at the end. They all have a dhamma at the end. This has the noon and niswa. And the rest of these here, they had a dhamma at the end. So what happens when they become mansub? They become mansub with a fatha. Right? They become mansub with a fatha. These, they never change. What happens when they become majzoom? They become majzoom with a sukoon. Right? That dhamma becomes a sukoon. What happens to these af'al al-khamsa? What happens to them? The rule says al-af'al al-khamsa turfa'u bi thubut an-nun wa tunsibu wa tujzimu bi hadfiha. So when they are marfu', they have the noon, thubut an-nun. Marfu' bi thubut an-nun. Marfu' taf'alina. Marfu' bi thubut an-nun. Just like this yaf'alu was marfu' bid-dhamma. This taf'alina is marfu' bi thubut an-nun, with the presence of the noon. Taf'alani. Marfu' bi thubut an-nun. Taf'alani. Or yaf'alani. تفعلان 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 مرفوع بثبوت النون. يفعلون تفعلون مرفوع بثبوت النون. But when they become majzoom or mansub, by dropping them. So if you follow the chart we've been doing, we type X's through these. Right? They are تفعلين mansub بحذف نون. مجزوم بحذف نون. يفعلان مجزوم بحذف نون. منصوب بحذف نون. تفعلان, all three of these. مجزوم بحذف نون. منصوب بحذف نون. Same thing here. يفعلون منصوب or مجزوم بحذف نون. تفعلون مجزوم منصوب بحذف نون. And we put it out of there to protect our wow. So that's why these are called the af'al al-khamsa, because they're not like those with a dhamma that just become a fatha instead or a sukoon instead. What happens? Because they don't have a dhamma as their sign of being marfu'. What do they have? They have a noon as the sign of being marfu'. So this dhamma, when it became mansub, became a fatha. What happens to this noon? We drop it. This dhamma became a sukoon when it became majzoom. So what do? We change the dhamma to a sukoon. But what do we do with that noon? We drop it. Clear?
No.
That should be super clear for you, Abdullah, man. We've done 44 verbs. I don't know why you're laughing.
I'm trying to get the word down.
It don't matter. Just say it in English. It's marfu' with a dhamma. That's it. Marfu' with a dhamma. Marfu' with a mansub with a fatha. Majzoom with a kasra. When it comes to the asma af'al al-khamsa, we say it's marfu' with the presence of the noon, or it's mansub or majzoom by dropping the noon. طيب. تقسيم الاسم إلى مفرد ومثنى وجمع. The division of the noun, or the categorization of the noun, into singular, dual, and plural. Singular, mufrad, dual, muthanna, and plural, jam'. The rule, al-ismu ينقسم ثلاثة أقسام. The noun is divided into three categories, three divisions. Mufrad, muthanna, wa jam'. Singular, dual, and plural. Al-mufrad with the singular, ما دل على شيء واحد. It's talking about one thing. How easy is that rule, right? Al-muthanna, the dual, is what? ما دل على شيئين اثنين, is what points to two things. بزيادة ألف ونون أو يا ونون في آخره, by adding an alif and a noon, or a ya and a noon at the end. So we say kalima. That's one word, right? Or we say kalimatan. Now, we can also say kalimatain. Kalimatain. How do we say kalimatain? Because when there's a harf jar in front of it, when there's a preposition in front of it, which changes it from being marfu' to being majroor, or putting it in a position where it is mansub. Right? So it could be kalimatan or kalimatain. Right? It could be masjidan or masjidain, waladan or waladain, walidan or walidain. It could be qisman or qismain, isman, ismain. Right? طيب الجمع ما دل على أكثر من اثنين. The plural is what points to more than two. So we have singular, dual, and plural. The singular, we already understand that. We don't have to go into it. Plural, we understand it. Dual, we understand it. It means two. But how do we make two? Alif wa noon or ya wa noon? Alif wa noon when it is marfu'. Ya wa noon, right, when it is mansub or majroor. Right? And they'll bring that rule later on, but they're just introducing it right now. Clear?
No. No.
Taqseemul jam, the division of the plural. Of the plural. Right? Yanqasim al-jam thalath aqsam. The plural is divided into three types. Jam'u taksir. Taksir from kaf, sin, ra, meaning broken. Jam'u taksir, a broken plural. Wa jam mudhakkar salam. Mudhakkar salam, the plural, which is masculine. Mudhakkar salam, sound, meaning that the word stays there, and we just add something at the end. Wa jam mu'annath salam, and the sound feminine plural. So we're going to give an example here, just so but it should be clear. We've done this I don't know how many times. فالجمع التكسير ما دل على أكثر من اثنين بتغيير صورة مفرده. Right? Then it is what points or indicates more than two things by changing the image or the how the singular is written. So for instance, we have the word tabib. What's the plural of tabib? At-tiba'u. Right? At-tiba'u. Now, is this picture here, that word tabib, just think of that like a picture. Is that still existing in here? No. It's broken. Faqir.
Fuqara.
Faqir. Fuqara. Is this picture here, faqir, is it inside of here? No. The ya is missing. We added an alif and a hamza, all types of stuff. So we say here in tabib, the ya is missing. We put an alif in front. We put a hamza at the back, an alif there. It's different. The picture of it is changed. We can change it by adding in the front, adding at the end, adding in the middle, taking away, doing a combination of those. But whatever it is, the picture is going to change. That's the Jam'u Taksir. Jam' Mudhakkar Salam, the sound masculine plural, which, and this could be, Jam'u Taksir could be feminine or singular. Right? It's feminine or singular. I mean, feminine or masculine. Feminine or masculine. Jam' Mudhakkar Salam is this masculine sound. Ma dala ala akthar min ithnain, more than two. Be ziyadata wa wa noon or ya wa noon. So we have the word Muslim. How do we make that plural?
Muslimuna.
Muslimuna. I don't even have to rewrite it like I did here. I can just add the wa noon there because this is sound. It doesn't change. Right? This is sound. Muhandis. right? Muhandisuna. I know it's not going to look like that, but I'm just showing you that I don't have to change the root, the sound. That's called sound. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's sound. It's there.
But you added the Y and no
at the end. But the word muhandis
So
is still there.
it's still there.
The word Muslim is still there. The word tabib is not still there. It becomes at-tiba.
Took the Y out.
We took the ya out. We added an alif there. We added an alif there and a hamza there. At-tiba'u. You understand? And we got rid of the second ba as well. At-tiba'u. So we got rid of two letters, a ya and a ba. We added two alifs, one in the beginning, one in the middle, so it's not there. The word tabib is gone. Whereas muhandis is still there. Muhandisun, muslimun, mu'minun, muhsinun. Right? Siddiqun, dhakirun, hafidhun. So for instance, the word hafidh, it has a sound plural and a broken plural. The sound plural would be hafidun. The broken plural would be hufadh. We broke it up. We put an aleph in the middle and got rid of this aleph. Right? Hufadh. Hafidun, hufadh. Has a sound plural and a broken plural. And some words are like that. They have both. But we're learning how do we deal with it. Right? So it has a wow and a noon or a ya with a noon. It has a wow and a noon. For instance, muslimun has a wow and a noon when it is marfu'. And we say muslimin when it is mansub and majroor. Jam mu'annath salam is the same thing. We have the word muslima. How do we make that? Jam mu'annath salam is ما دل على أكثر من اثنين, what points to more than two or indicates more than two, بزيادة ألف وتاء في آخره. Right? How do we make that plural? We say muslimat. Right? Muslimat. So this ta marbuta is really just a sign of being feminine. So don't say, no, we broke it up. No, we didn't. We didn't break it up. We just made the sign of feminine. And the sign of feminine now is alif ta. The word Muslim is still there. Same thing, muhandisa. Same thing, hafidha, hafidhat, dhakirat, mu'minat, qanitat, sadiqat, sa'imat. Right? All of these words, we add the alif ta. That's the jam mu'annath salam. When it has the ta marbuta, and when it becomes feminine, we add alif ta. Then that's called jam mu'annath salam. The sound, feminine, plural. Now there could be a word, and I can't think of one right now, which is jamu taksir. Just don't think of one right now, but I'm sure there is one. I'm positive there is. Right? How does it become? How does it become? It becomes by breaking it up. Right? But when it's sound, we just add the alif ta. Now, just to go over this wa wa noon and ya wa noon part of this, when we add the alif ta, we put muslimatun. Muslimatun, that is marfu'. When it says muslimatin, then this is mansub and majroor. They're both the same, mansub and majroor. Right? And we've been going over that for a long time. Now, what happens? Now they're going to explain. They're going to explain here what I've already explained up above, which is يرفع المثنى بالألف وينصب ويجر بالياء. So when we have something which is dual, kalimatan, or kalimatain, we said that is how you make something dual. Kalimatan, kalimatain. When it has the alif, it is marfu'. Yurfa'u. When it has the ya, it is mansub and majroor. So when we had our Muslim, mun, Musli, man. I'm just not spelling it right. Musli, man. Or no, I don't even want to do dual right now. I'm tripping. Musli, men, and Musli, min. This is marfu', this is mansub, this is majroor. We have dhamma. When it's singular, it's marfu' with a dhamma, mansub with a fatha, majroor with a kasra. However, when it's dual, muslimani. Again. Muslimaini. Muslimaini. It is marfu' with an alif. And it is mansub and majroor with a ya. When we have muslimun, I'm just going to do it because it's going to come up and again in a minute. Muslimina, it's going to come up. Muslimina. Muslimuna, right? Marfu' with this dhamma. Muslimina is mansub with this ya. Muslimina majroor with this ya. So this is marfu'. This is mansub. Whatever. And this is majroor. My pen's not writing very good. Alright, majroor. This is singular, dual, plural. How is the singular marfu' with a dhamma? How is it mansub with a fatha? How is it majroor with a kasra? When it's dual, how is it marfu' with an alif? How is it mansub with a ya? How is it majroor with a ya? When it's plural, how is it marfu' with a waw? When it's mansub, how is it mansub with a ya? How is it majroor with a ya? Right? So the dual, i'rab al-muthanna, the i'rab of the dual, it is marfu' yurfa'u muthanna bil alif, as in kalimatan, wa yunsab wa yajurru bil ya, such as in kalimatain. Sah? Correct?
No.
طيب. إعراب جمع المذكر السالم. How do we make the إعراب of the جمع مذكر سالم? جمع مذكر سالم يرفع بالواو وينصب ويجر بالياء. What did I say? جمع مذكر سالم مرفوع بالواو منصوب and مجرور with a ya. منصوب and مجرور with a ya. And إعراب جمع مؤنث سالم. Man. جمع مؤنث سالم يرفع بالضمة وينصب ويجر بالكسرة. So we said musli, we have muslimat, muslimat, right? Because we had over here muslima, but it was over here in the singular, right? Musli, let me just write a whole nother chart here. We have muslima tun, musli ma ten, musli ma ten, Marfu with a dhamma. Mansub with a fatha. Majroor with a kasra. This is singular. Dual. Muslima. I don't know why. Muslimatani. Right? Marfu with an alif. Muslimataini. Mansub with a ya. Muslimataini. Majroor with a ya. And then we have muslimatun. Marfu with dhammas. Muslimatin. Mansub with kasras. Muslimatin. Majroor with kasras. So, جمع مؤنث سالم يرفع بضمة وينصب ويجر بالكسرة. Got it?
Pronounce that mu'annath.
مؤنث. نعم.
Mu'annath.
مؤنث.
That's over a while.
مؤنث. نعم.
Mu'annath. Mu'annath.
Okay, we have 7 minutes left. Al-Mudaf wal-Mudaf ilay. This should be easy enough, right? Okay, Al-Mudaf wal-Mudaf ilay. Al-Qaida 58. The 58th rule. Al-Mudaf. What is the Mudaf? Ismun. Nusiba ila ismun ba'da. Ila ismin ba'da. It is a noun which is attributed to the noun after it. Right? Rasulullah. Right? This noun is attributed to the noun after it. فَتَعَرَّفَ بِسَبَبْ هَذِهِ نِسْبَةً أَوْ تَخَصَّصَ. So we don't have to add an alif lam here because it's already known. So if I have a group of pens, a group of ink pens here, and I say, Liman hadha qalam, who does this belong to? Hadha qalam Abdullah. Hadha qalam Abdullah. This is Abdullah's pencil, or pen. Do I have to put alif lam here? No, because the fact that I said qalam Abdullah lets me know the specific. So it says fata'arrafa, meaning it becomes definite because of the attribution or the specialization to the name after it, the noun after it. So I don't need to put an alif lam on my mudaf. والمضاف يحذف التنوينه عند الإضافة. We're also not going to have rasulun. We're going to get rid of what we don't need this because this is a sign of indefiniteness, but it is definite by its attribution and by its connection, right? إذا كان منون قبل. If it had a tanween at first, we don't put it. Some words don't have tanween, right? They're mamnu min as-sarf. But if it had a tanween, we're not going to have a tanween. وتحذف النونه إذا كان مثنى أو جمع مذكر سالم. So for instance, if we had we'll use muhandis. Muhandis soon, right? Muhandisun Aramco. I'm not sure I spelled it right, but I think so. Aramco is a big company, right? Okay, Muhandisun. We want to say the engineers of Aramco. Here it says وَتُحْذَفْ نُونَهُ. If it is if it is muthanna or jam mudhakkar salim, we're going to get rid of our noon. We're going to say muhandisu Aramco. If it was two muhandises.
You're spelling that wrong, eh?
What? Oh yeah, I didn't put a dial there. Muhandi, right. Muhandisun. Jazakallah khairan. Then we drop our noon. When it becomes Muhandisu Aramco. If we had two of them, which I spelled it wrong again though. Muhandisan Aramco. I'm going to say Muhandisa Aramco. Now the same thing. If it was Muhandisi. If it was Muhandisin, because of something in front of it. This is from the engineers of Aramco. Muhandisi Aramco. Or Muhandisay Aramco. So if it is Muthanna or Jam Mudhakkar Salim, when it becomes Mudaf, we're going to drop our noon. And we talked about that a long time ago when we went over this subject. Right? والمضاف إليه, the مضاف إليه اسم يأتي بعد المضاف. It's a noun which comes after the word which is مضاف, and it is مجرور. It is مجرور. The مضاف إليه is always مجرور. The مضاف, it could be مرفوع, it could be منصوب, it could be مجرور. So we could say, for instance, we want to make a sentence here. هو رسول الله. He is the messenger of Allah. Rasul is marfu here because it is the khabar, marfu. We could say, Inna Rasula Lahi. Right? Indeed, the messenger of Allah, something. Or we could say, for instance, Ya Abdullahi. Remember, after Ya, the mudaf is going to be mansub. Or we could say, Hada min Rasulullahi. And Rasul becomes majroor. But Allah, lafdul jalala, which is the mudaf ilay here, is always going to be majroor. The mudaf ilay is always going to be majroor. The mudaf could be any case. Marfu, mansub, or majroor. But the mudaf ilay is always going to be majroor. Clear?
Noun.
طيب. We'll save أسماء الخمسة وإعرابها for tomorrow بإذن الله تعالى. Right? And we'll cruise on out of here. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And we're cruising today, right? We're cruising. We got past the hard part. طيب. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll see you brothers tomorrow with some more of An-Nahw al-Wadih. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.